What happens when an entitled duchess meets America's sweetheart, live on television? What starts as a simple interview spirals into one of the most explosive confrontations in daytime history, captured on live camera, fueled by clashing values, and ending in a dramatic walk-off that no one saw coming. This isn't gossip. This is what happens when the mask slips. The world sees a side of fame that was never meant to be broadcast. This is the shocking story of how Meghan Markle got herself kicked off the Drew Barrymore Show, and why the moment is still sending shockwaves through the internet. It all began like any other promotional appearance. Meghan had just launched her latest lifestyle brand designed to position her as a beacon of wellness, empowerment, and ethical consumerism. The product line was polished, the message was sleek, and Drew Barrymore's show was the perfect launchpad. Producers expected warmth, charm, maybe a few laughs about life post-royalty. After all, Drew is known for her compassion. It's a kind of host who makes her guests feel safe. But what happened instead left everyone stunned, and it all unraveled in front of a live studio audience. As Meghan took her seat across from Drew, the energy was electric. Drew beamed with her signature smile. "Your journey from actress to duchess to entrepreneur, it's just incredible," she said genuinely. Meghan returned the compliment with a polished smile. "Thank you, Drew. I've always admired your authenticity." Word authenticity hung in the air like a quiet warning. At first, things felt normal. Drew asked about Meghan's new venture. Meghan responded with a pitch-perfect monologue about sustainability, empowerment, and disrupting the wellness industry. But something felt off. The delivery wasn't inspiring, it was calculated, mechanical even, and that's when Drew made a slight pivot. "I hope you don't mind," she said softly, "but our viewers are curious. How are you adjusting to life's post-royalty?" Was the kind of question Meghan had surely been prepped for. But her expression changed, slightly. A flash of irritation crossed her face. "I think it's important to focus on the positive work I'm doing now," she replied, her smile tightening. Drew, sensing the shift, tried to smooth it over. "Of course. I just think our audience really connects with the journey, the struggles, the growth." That's when Meghan snapped. "I came here to talk about my brand, not to be psychoanalyzed on daytime television." The room went silent. The producers in the control room were panicking. This was not the soft focus interview they had planned. This was a royal meltdown, live, unfiltered, and headed straight off a cliff. Drew tried to recover. "If it came across that way, that wasn't my intention." But Meghan wasn't backing down. Her voice sharpened. "Overcome challenges? You have the wrong idea about my story, Drew." Drew stayed composed. "It just meant that starting over couldn't have been easy, starting over." Meghan cut her off. Her laugh was hollow. "You've been reading too many tabloids?" Audience members shifted uncomfortably. Tension in the studio was thick enough to choke on. "You're trying to turn this into a trauma bonding session," Meghan said, now visibly annoyed. And that's when Drew, still holding her ground, finally said what everyone was thinking. "I never try to exploit anyone's pain. That's not who I am." "Isn't it, though?" Meghan snapped. "Isn't that exactly what daytime television does? Feed off people's stories so your viewers can feel better about their own lives." You could hear a pin drop. The hurt on Drew's face was unmistakable, and yet she stood her ground. "I believe in human connection," she replied. "I've shared my own struggles publicly, so people know they're not alone." Meghan scoffed. "St. Drew, helping the lonely people cry on television. That was it." Drew took a breath and said with a calm that cut like glass, "I think you should leave." Meghan was stunned. "You're kicking me off your show because I won't play along." "I'm asking you to leave because you're being cruel, not just to me, but to what this show stands for." Security was called. But before they could move, Meghan raised her hand. "Don't you dare treat me like some common troublemaker. Do you even know who you're talking to?" "Yes," Drew said quietly. "I'm talking to someone who chose to be nasty instead of kind." The burn hit hard. Meghan's face flushed with anger. She turned to the audience. "Oh, please. You're booing me for telling the truth? This is exactly what's wrong with this country." People gasped. Some got up to leave. Others began to film despite strict no-recording rules. This was no longer a talk show. It was a televised implosion. "Get out," Drew repeated, this time with icy finality. "I'm not leaving until I say what I came here to say," Meghan snapped. "America needs to know who you really are." Drew didn't flinch. "Enlighten us." "You're a has-been child star clinging to relevance by making other people's pain your content," Meghan said. The silence that followed felt endless. Drew stood motionless. And then, in a voice like steel, "Security, remove her from my studio." But Meghan wasn't done. "Don't touch me. I'm not a criminal." "No," Drew replied calmly. "Common criminals usually have better manners." The audience gasped. Applause broke out. Drew Barrymore, America's sweetheart, had just delivered a masterclass in dignity under fire. "You think your little quips make you better than me?" Meghan seethed. "I think kindness makes me better than cruelty," Drew said. "That's the difference between us." Meghan tried one last strike. "You're jealous of anyone who's accomplished something meaningful?" Drew didn't even blink. "Tell me what's meaningful about tearing down someone who welcomed you." That line landed hard. Meghan's eyes flashed. "You don't know what it's like to be constantly attacked." "Actually, I do," Drew said softly. "I've been in the public eye since I was 7. I've faced addiction, divorce, public humiliation. The difference is I didn't let it make me bitter. I was the breaking point." Meghan's composure shattered. "Don't you dare compare your little Hollywood problems to what I've been through." "You married into royalty," Drew said, now rising to full height. "You had the world at your feet. When it got hard, you blamed everyone but yourself." Meghan tried to fire back, but Drew wasn't done. "I asked you to share your journey, not to bleed on camera. I treated you with respect, and you came here to burn everything down." Meghan looked around, the audience staring, the crew whispering, security waiting. "Fine," she said. "I don't need your approval." "Then leave," Drew said. "Just leave." Meghan stormed toward the exit, but threw one final grenade over her shoulder. "You'll regret this." "Drew, when the truth comes out." Drew didn't blink. "The only truth is what everyone just witnessed. You came here as a guest. You chose cruelty. That's your truth." The studio erupted in applause as Meghan was finally escorted out. Drew stood there, shaken but resolute. She turned to the camera, her famous warmth fighting its way back through the emotional wreckage. "Well," she said with a wry smile, "that wasn't quite what we had planned for today." Laughter. "I want to apologize," she continued. "This show should be a safe space, but I won't allow anyone to come here and be cruel, not to me, not to you." The audience clapped. Again, this time with real affection. Drew had shown strength without losing compassion. "I believe in kindness," Drew said, her voice growing stronger. "But I also believe in standing up for what's right." She looked around the studio at the people who had just witnessed something unforgettable. "Tomorrow, we'll be back to normal," she said. "But today, maybe we all learned something about what respect really means." And as the credits rolled, one thing was clear. This wasn't just another celebrity drama. It was a cultural reckoning, played out, live. Was Drew right to kick Meghan off the show? Or should she have tried harder to salvage the interview? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories you won't believe until you hear them.